My name's Oliveira. I'm the CEO of Shape and Cloud. We're hosting this event today in conjunction with Microsoft, obviously, who are providing the office, and also with Soccertim, who are providing their president to speak to us today. A couple of quick things, usual health and safety. Toilets are back towards the reception through the white double doors. Fire escape is equally back through there. I think you can, if in the case of an alarm, these doors will be opened and you can go through that route as well. There are no alarms planned, so if it does go off, it is possibly a genuine one. So I just wanted to talk you through briefly before we get on to Jeff to sort of really set the scene, I guess, in terms of why we're holding this event and why the theme transformation beyond digital. So firstly, a little bit about Shape and Cloud and our own sort of mission and mission statement. So we're Microsoft Gold partners. We've been around 6 years now. When we started the company, it was on Azure, Windows Azure as it was then. And so we've been kind of through the process, and as Azure has grown, the company's grown and our offerings have grown. And really now we focus very much on public sector, very much on local government. You know, most of the speakers here today are either clients of ours or people we've worked closely with. And really we see our role as delivering those cloud solutions. You know, the cloud's a great technology, it can do lots and lots of great things, but it needs a focus and it needs a center point, and that's where we work with local government and public sector to give us that focus point. You know, we need to be able to define the problem, we need to be able to define what it is we're trying to do, and then fit the solutions around it. And that's our role, and we believe that by doing that and working with the public sector, we can transform the way services are provided, and more importantly, transform the way people's and citizens experience their day-to-day lives. So we think it's a really important mission, and it's something we're very, very passionate about. One thing that, for me personally, as a technologist coming into the sector, and before Shaping Cloud, I used to work in financial services. So you know, I'm not from the sector originally. Was just this push of digital, and it was digital everywhere, and it was digital by default, and it was digital transformation. And it was kind of, it took me a while to kind of understand what is it they're trying to drive at, what is it they're trying to do. You know, digital transformation is not just taking a paper-based process and making it an online process. It's not just about being able to do things through a web or through a mobile phone. You know, if you look at the true digital transformations that we've all had in our own lives, in terms of, you know, as an example, last night I got the train down from Birmingham at another event. On the way outside the train station, I ordered an Uber. While I was in the Uber, I ordered a Deliveroo, so that by the time I got to the Airbnb that we were staying at, we had food. You know, it's this kind of just embedding of digital into our lives that's just totally normal, but it still doesn't really fit the same way when we talk about public sector and local government. And I was trying to understand, I guess, what the real challenge is. And I think a lot of the time it's the way we frame the problem, and often for the sector, trying to find a digital solution. You know, we need digital transformation, we need a digital solution. Well, where do you start? You know, there's thousands and thousands of digital offerings, there's thousands and thousands of suppliers. And it is like trying to pick a star out of the galaxy, right? How do you know it's right for me? How do you know it's the right solution? If you want to take the analogy even further, if I pick the solar system that I want, let's say Microsoft, there's still thousands of vendors, there's still thousands of solutions. And it's a massive challenge. And I think for me, the change that needs to happen is actually almost forgetting about the digital part. The digital is the tool. We know the technology's there. We know the technology can deliver things. Like I said, we use it every day in our own lives. It's more about, okay, how do we focus on the process that sits behind it? How do we improve that? How do we work together, you know, us as a vendor and as a supplier, and you yourselves as people in the sector, to really deliver those services. And, you know, today we've got a fantastic lineup of speakers. So we have Jeff Connell, President of Soccertim. We have Mike Ibbotson, Director of Business Services at Ealing Council. Derek McCourt, who is the General Manager for the public sector here at Microsoft. And then Matt Pope and Sally Watkins, who are joint heads of customer service at Woking Borough Council. All kind of going through transformations of different sorts within their organisations and kind of I suppose, sharing their own journeys and their own views, and hopefully setting a course for how we move things forward, because I think there is huge potential there. Before I introduce Jeff, I just wanted to talk briefly about one of our stars in that galaxy there, which is currently in R&D and currently being developed, and that's called Spinner. Now, this again comes from our sort of traditional business. So, a lot of our work with the local sector is about taking their data center, their systems, their applications, and moving them into some kind of hybrid environment, moving them into Azure, kind of securing a lot of the basics that need to be there. So whether that's disaster recovery, backup, it's kind of putting it onto a solid footing in the cloud, and that's really a great use case for Azure. The infrastructure as a service offering within Azure is very robust, and is now live in many councils around the UK. And there is now a UK data center as well, as you would have seen a couple of weeks ago being announced. For us, that's kind of step one. That's step one of the journey. Let's get to a solid base, deal with the day-to-day, deal with the service, reliance and reliability and scalability, the issues that you need. What comes next? What comes in terms of that transformation and the next step in the journey, really? And for me, a key challenge that's not unique to the sector, because there's other sectors that deal with it, is around legacy systems, legacy IT. So much of that, so much of what runs a local authority is not built for web and mobile. It wasn't built then. It was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And there's a massive challenge where you're trying to be digital and you're trying to deliver this future state, but you're doing it on a kind of infrastructure and a set of applications that weren't built for that future state. So Spinner tries to bridge that gap, I guess. So it's a new sector called Integration Platform as a Service, and really it tries to create the middleware, if you like, between on-premise legacy systems and the cloud. Really tackling two key things. One is just around internal data orchestration. So defining that my CRM system is my gold copy. When an address updates in my CRM, I want all of my other line of business systems to update to that person's address. Likewise, if someone goes directly into a revenues and benefits system and changes an address, it creates an alert to say, this address has changed, is this correct? Trying to maintain that kind of master data management piece without going through the sort of data warehousing or the very big integration projects that are often sort of used to try and tackle this problem. So one is that internal process flow and improving that. And then the second part is starting to create modern cloud-based APIs that are external. So you can start to build, I suppose, a council API that you can have either council developers or external third parties build on top of. So instead of saying to a third party, we want you to build us a citizen-focused app, and it needs to pull in data from these 3 legacy line of business systems. Most agencies, the guys who hang out in Shoreditch or in the Northern Quarter in Manchester, where we're from, can build a beautiful app. But if it involves legacy hardware, legacy kit, legacy applications, it's not their thing, right? And it's not really what they do. If you can frame to them, we want you to build us an app. We've created the API for you. Here's your endpoints. Here's your citizen endpoint. And that has got all the information in it that you need from all of the different systems that you need. And you can write back to it, and you can call it, and you can just build an app the way most people build modern apps. That's really where Spinner is focused and targeted. As I said at the start, it's in development right now. We're hoping to launch it, sort of soft launch it towards the end of this year, and more next year. We're looking for councils to work with and partner with and help us. At this point in time, we need to work with as many councils and many different integration challenges as possible so that we can make the product as robust as possible. So if there's any interest in the conversation, grab me during a coffee break, and I'll be happy to speak to you a little bit more about it. So that was really everything I wanted to say. So I wanted to get things back on track in terms of time and make sure our speakers get the time that they deserve in terms of being able to get their messages across. So that was it from me. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jeff Connell, who is Sorting President, to talk about transformation. Thank you.